Hey guys, this is Hankins44 here, and today we'll be playing a little bit more Civ. So you might recognize right away that this game is not going to include Choking Hazard 44, this will just be me, and that chiefly is because that this is going to be some modded Civ 5 Brave New World, so that we will not be able to play multiplayer on it, but I will be able to bring you some content like this, and Choking Hazard 44 might be doing some modded Civ of his own later down the line. So I'm playing Venice, as you can see. I think I'm gonna go for a cultural or rather a diplomatic victory for this game. I'm not quite decided yet.
Die
Huh?
Erzherzogin zu
As you can see, I'm
Österreich
already meeting
heißt Eure
Austria,
Eminenz
and
willkommen.
you might think that seems pretty close. Well, that's why because I did not quite explain what kind of mod this is. So we are playing the Yet Not Another Earth map pack, which is basically it's the same type. It's Earth as we know it, but it's a much larger map than normal, so it's significantly bigger than the huge map. Additionally, we're playing with its companion mods, which allow all 43 of the normal civs in Civ 5 to be played simultaneously in the game, which is why me starting in the northern Italy, I'm going to be surrounded by tons of other players, which I'll be soon meeting in the next couple turns. So that should be interesting. I've played this map once or twice before, but I haven't done too much serious work with it, and I've never tried doing a diplomatic victory for this type of thing. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. Let's see. I'm gonna start out with animal husbandry. Get some trade routes open as Venice. It's gonna be super important so that I have a very strong economy, so that I'm able to woo city-states. But yeah, so I guess we're just gonna see how things go with this game. Obviously, this game will take quite a while. We are playing on, oh, hello, Rome. Back. See ya. But, we are playing on a standard game pace, so it's not terribly slow, but it's not terribly fast either. We'll just sort of have to see. Obviously, I'll be surrounded on all sides, so having some sort of military will probably be important, because Rome tends to be a pretty aggressive player, and, Greece isn't too far away either, and Germany's to my north. So we're not exactly surrounded by the most friendliest of allies. Austria should be mostly okay, but we'll have to keep others in check, so if that means beating some people up, then so be it. So, for now, obviously, we're just in the beginning stage of the game, so we're just building out our monument, working on research.
Haide che
There's
te.
Greece.
Alexandru sei mi. Hyoston anak.
But yeah, so I'll probably be releasing this map pack. I would say every Monday and Wednesday is the goal for this, but it's gonna have to depend on my schedule. Unfortunately, classes have to come first, so that's just how it's gonna be. But hopefully, the goal is to deliver 2 episodes every week on this, and haven't quite decided on the length yet. I'm thinking possibly somewhere between 20 and 30-minute episodes, because this will probably take a long time in terms of game pace, but just because it takes so long to process 43 civs turns, especially once you get past the beginning stages here. But yeah, we'll just have to sort of play it by ear and see how things go. Okay, 2 pop. If you saw our last video, you'll notice that my audio is sounding much better this time. That's because I did switch to a headset. I realized after posting the video that my audio was subpar at best, but now it should be sounding a lot better and a lot clearer, so that's something to look forward to from now on, that you won't have, if you do like us, that you won't have to be dealing with really crappy audio. So I apologize for having you deal with that the first time if you've seen our first episode. If not, it's our only other episode on the channel at the moment, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Yeah, so if you're just, yeah, we'll just go with it. hopefully you enjoyed. Some horses over here. Hopefully we'll be able to expand out there quick. Snatch them up. I think I'm gonna go with pottery because I want to get my pop up so that I can more effectively work the land around me once I get my workers out. Because I want that granary, and then I also need to get my faith up because with so many civs it's so easy to not get a religion. Crap. I guess I'll just have them stay there for a little bit. Hopefully Austria will move out of the way and I'll be able to get by. Yeah. Yep, first mountain's already founded. Like I said, it's going to be pretty difficult for me, especially since Venice typically isn't a very strong religious player, but I guess we're going to see. Obviously, tradition's going to be a pretty good one for me this time around because I don't imagine that I'll be building any massive cities, or rather, any massive sprawling empire in the near future since I am going for diplomatic victor, so I don't want to piss off too many civs. I definitely do foresee Rome being a bit of an issue down the line.
Bienvenue.
Hey, I almost
Je suis
forgot.
Napoléon
Good old
de
Napoleon.
France.
So he is also a pretty aggressive civ, so to see how that worked out. Europe is basically just a huge tinderbox here because there's just so many civs that are in Civ 5 that are from Europe, so it's just like you have to expand very quickly if you want to take a significant amount of land. And if you do that, then you're going to tick off a lot of people because everyone's going to think you're encroaching on their territory, basically. So there's really no easy way to win in that sort of situation. Second Pantheon's already up. We need 25 faith. 7 religions can still be founded, so I think I'm going to... I do like growing, but I think I'm going to try and get some of those classical wonders, so I think I'll prefer to stick with that for now. Go Great Library, because even though I'll probably be focusing on economics and culture, I am a big fan of having my science up, so Great Library would really help with that if we could get it done.
Ich sehe, ihr bewundert meinen neuen Damast. Soll keiner sagen, ich sei eine...
Sure. Yeah. You'll notice that a lot of the civs that I'll be talking to have just frozen faces, and that's not an issue with my game, that's just what happens with the mod pack, because Civ isn't designed to load this many civs into the game, so beyond the first 12 that were loaded, they're basically all gonna have frozen faces like that. So, just as a word of, not warning, but just to keep you informed so you're not thinking that my game is broken in some way or another. Yeah, I have a funny feeling I'm probably not going to be able to get religion. But I mean, worth a shot. and even if we are just building faith and don't actually go too hard and heavy on the religion, then it's still possible that we could be able to do things like use that faith to purchase great engineers, for example, later in the line once I finish out tradition. Well, I'm not last, which is good, but I'm 32nd, which is not great. Poland's not too bad. So the fact that someone has 390 gold already is a bit disconcerting, but what are you gonna do?
Hilet, okej? Soy...
Sure. It will be very difficult for me to build wonders in this game though, because when 43 civs are vying for them, the likelihood that you actually get one is pretty slim. But it's not impossible. Probably start out on Granny, but switch over to Grey Library to give it a shot, at least. And it's a bit of a risky move, but I guess we'll have to wait and see though. Maybe it'll work out. Effectively, we've already cut off Rome from the rest of Europe, so that's probably not going to make them too pleased with us. Good. Do have Ivory though. If I had been feeling a bit more aggressive, I might have purchased that land tile from Rome, and that would probably really ticked him off. And I'm not really in the position to be fighting a war this early, so I guess I just won't.
La France t'offre cette
On the other hand, though, if I can, so now that I've cut him off, if he won't really be able to
des großen
hit
deutschen
Germany,
Volkes
what's up?
heiße ich
But he won't really have too much room to expand. He might be able to get one more city in down there, but if not, I might be able to clear him out of the game completely, which is good because when you clear a civ out of this game completely, it speeds up the process ever so slightly, and also it's just nice to have because that means I have a place to expand and basically, or well, rather, I can take Roman as a puppet and have access to his luxuries, which will be nice. I don't profess to be a great Civ player, but I've put a fair number of hours into this game at this point, around 150. So, on one hand, I have at least a basic understanding of how everything works, but if I don't do everything exactly right all the time, please don't get too annoyed at me, because I am not perfect at this game. Choking Hazard 44 is a little bit better than I am at this
Es
game, but he
wäre
also
in
has
eurem Interesse, dass
Sure,
ihr
German.
diese
He has a lot more hours into this game than I do at this point. So, that's the only way to get better. Have to keep playing. But I mean, hopefully this coming year, now that we're recording on this new YouTube channel, I'll be getting a lot more in, and we'll begin to make some progress in that direction. Of course, a couple months' time, we'll be thrown from that a little bit, and we won't be playing Civ 5 as much, because, I mean, the whole sort of idea behind this YouTube channel is that we would start recording Civ 5 now, and work our way towards the release of Civilization Beyond Earth, which we are super excited for, and we're just so excited for when that comes out. I mean, we both pre-ordered it well a few weeks ago already, and so we're just like dying and waiting, and hopefully as soon as we get our hands on it, we'll be doing a joint recording session together, and we'll release it that day, hopefully, if we're lucky. So we'll be right on the ground for you guys as soon as it comes out, and you'll be able to get an experience of the gameplay yourself. If you're still on the fence about buying it, maybe you'll get to see it and be like, this is really awesome, and so then you'll be more interested in buying it, because we definitely think it's going to be a game worth buying. we're really interested in all the news they've released. We've been following it very closely. We think they've got a pretty interesting concept for this game. All the different stuff they're putting into it seems like it'll make for very interesting gameplay, even though it's on the same game engine, so graphically it won't be too much improved. The color schemes they're using are going to be a lot more alien, obviously, which makes, I think it adds intrigue to the game, even though graphically it's pretty similar. But yeah, so we'll have to see. I'm very intrigued by the affinities that they've released. If you're not familiar with the affinities, basically what they're going to be is, it's basically Firaxis has said that like affinities sort of represent like the three main branches of basically the final evolution of humans as they journey from planet Earth into this new alien world, and basically what they think we're going. So it's, you can sort of think of it like an ideology in Brave New World, but it's definitely a lot more in-depth and complicated than that. Instead of just using your social policies to sort of gain benefits late game, this is going to be throughout the game. You're going to slowly be advancing into that. So we don't really want to change. We sort of glorify the history of Earth, and we think we have our own special place in the universe as Earthlings. So we don't want to be changed by this environment. We don't want to adapt to this environment through other means, such as maybe cybernetics or something. So so we're gonna go ahead and just be the best Earthlings we can be, sort of purify, so to speak, that what it means to be human, and that type of ideology that comes from classical Earth thought and mentality. So their units are a bit bulkier than the other two units from what I've seen. They tend to be very like hardy looking, but they also look pretty cool. They're pretty like, as it were, they sort of might remind you of like the Romans. They're sort of like this empire, and it's like they're all very strong, and they just look very orderly, and they have some pretty cool looking units. I will definitely admit, I'm not necessarily hey, what's up, Portugal? I don't necessarily feel that I will be aligned with them too hard, but I guess I'll have to wait and see.